Hello. Today is the 6th and the final day of Floralia, the festival of the Roman goddess Flora, goddess of flowers and spring. And I've been putting a post each day for the first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day. And I was wondering what to do for today, the final day of Floralia. And I thought, well, what's better than going outside and looking at what blossoms there are where you live anyway. So this is an experiment as well. I don't have Wi-Fi where I'm going, so I'm using a hotspot on my smartphone to try and do a Zoom recording on my laptop. That may or may not work, but fingers crossed, we'll have a walk around. And apologies if the picture quality gets shaky as I'm walking. When I'm looking at places of interest, I'll try and keep it as still as I can. And I'll just waffle and babble as we walk around. It's a nice sunny day. So here I am in the studio, and I'm just going to put the smartphone in my pocket. Hopefully it will work. There's me Ogham stakes there. We'll start in the studio and finish in the studio. Now, holding the laptop, talking sideways. Right, we're going outside. Hopefully it works. Bright and sunny day, lovely. For those that don't know, the studio is in Guernsey. It's an island in the English Channel between England and Brittany. Most of the place names are French, although the population is largely English speaking, with a wisteria on that building. So the main celebration of Flora, of course, is everything coming into full blossom. Now, I'm going to show you one of the special things. So where we are in Guernsey, it's a parish called St. Peter's, but its real name is French, and it's pronounced Saint-Pierre-de-Bois, and that means St. Peter's of the wood. And the shield or the heraldry for Saint-Pierre-de-Bois is a single apple tree. So here we are in our orchard. There's some apple trees here. Hopefully you can see the blossom nicely. And there's one apple tree in particular that's really shining at the moment. This apple tree's done nothing. It might be dead. It is quite an old one. And we're going through some, I think, quince trees. And look at this apple tree over here. It's amazing. The birds are really sing-songing at the moment as well. So look at this apple tree. Splendid. There's a perfect, how close can I get? My hands are a bit shaky. We get closer to the blossom. Amazing. And nothing better as a symbol of flora than an apple tree in blossom. We've just had Beltane, and here only one hawthorne tree is in blossom at the moment. Loads of bees. They love it. Beautiful apple tree. I'm just going to walk up this field swiftly. There's one tree that I really like. It's not in the Ogham. It's the horse chestnut tree, but it's one of my favorite trees. And this one's been in blossom quite a while. I think the blossoms of the horse chestnut are called candles. They look a bit like candles, I suppose. Yeah, beautiful. Kind of pale pinky white. This one. Really pretty. Most of the hedges here are holly and pine trees. We've got some hawthorn and blackthorn, but like I said, they're not in blossom yet. Only one is, and we're finished. I'll show you that one when we get to it. So this property where the art studio is a 6-acre farm in Guernsey, and the foundations of the farm go back to the 1300s. That's about 700 years ago, of course. Most of the barns were, I think, 1700s. And we've got an old holy well, which I'll take us to. These are oak trees. They've only just started unfurling their leaves. So yeah, so most of the farm dates to the 1700s. And I did find a silver coin some months ago. Looked it up on the internet. Look at these wonderful steps. And the silver coin that I found was French and dated to 1690. Got crunchy feet walking on the gravel. So we're going to walk over there. That's where the Hawthorne tree is in blossom. And we'll get there eventually. But first I want to show you Sacred Grove and the Holy Well. We've still, my friends have only had this farm since September, and mainly we've just been busy clearing. Not so much clearing, this is where we burn off the old wood. There were lots of dead trees and damaged trees. Now, here's the barn. I don't know how well you can see that. And the end of the barn is where the studio is. The studio's upstairs. Now, the upstairs windows are the studio, and these are the steps that go up. If you look at the bottom of the steps, there's steps there, and over here, I've put lots of pots on them. But this was actually a mounting block for getting on a horse. You know, before there were cars, people used their horses. And so opposite are the stable blocks. So this is where the horses were kept. Haven't been used for stables for a long time, I don't think. And the long-term plan is to turn them into treatment rooms for reflexology and massage and all that lovely stuff. The plans with the property are for it to be a healing centre, sanctuary. Look at these. This is a camellia in blossom, beautiful. And just go through. These are actually old stone pigsties. A fig tree right there. So eventually this will be a sanctuary, healing retreat place. And one of the main projects I've been working on is something called the Well Maidens of the Summerlands. And it's all to do with holy wells, sacred wells. And when my friends bought this property, they didn't know there was a holy well here. It was just perfect discovery. So these are the steps that go down to the holy well. They were all overgrown. My mum and I cleared them a month ago. The place has been left and neglected for quite a while. Like I said, there's a lot of clearing to do, and the walls damaged by great big trees. So the trees had to come down to save the wall. Lots of repair work to do. And we've got lots of pathways through this, what we call Myrtle Grove, because there's a lovely myrtle tree. My friends have a big chime, which we put up in the tree here. I'll give it a tap as we walk by. Lovely sound. it's humming anyway, like with a resonance. I'll give it a push. And there's our holy well. Don't know how old it is. Oh. It was, when we arrived, full of soil, completely full of soil. And I dug down a bit and it just seemed to be more and more soil, and I gave up digging after a while. And then I walked back by a few hours later and there was a little pool of water, and that encouraged me to keep digging. And now it's pretty much clear water with just a few, bits and pieces floating on the top. I do skim the top now and then, but perfect clear water. Perfect for the headquarters of the Well Maidens of the Summerlands project. Now, above the well are hazel trees here, overhanging hazel trees. You can see the chimes there, and also fuchsia, really lovely old fuchsia, but mainly hazel trees and a hawthorn. There's a hawthorn branches here, no blossom on that yet. The water from the well flows out into this kind of trough, and then gradually, it's ever so small and gentle, but it trickles through into a stream. And get down there. Good job, got wellies on. And we actually have a few streams. Here's one of them. There are about 3 main streams, but they're all very small trickles. But we're gradually going to make a water garden with little bridges and pools, places to meditate, places just to find peace and tranquility, really, with these lovely calla lilies. So just there is, in the center of it all, with the kind of rusty brown bark, is the Myrtle Tree. So that's why we call it Myrtle Grove. And all of this is where it's a jungle. It's overgrown, ferns and nettles and brambles. But this is where the 3 streams are flowing. And we will clear it eventually. Started clearing some pathways. But there's a lot to do. Eventually, a beautiful water garden. So here's some more blossoms. I think these are pink campion. And wild garlic, of course. These are some sort of Guernsey lily, type of lily. Looks like a tulip, but I'm sure it's called the Guernsey Lily. I might be wrong. Off the lamp. Here, Hawthorne Tree. Not ready yet. Buds haven't quite opened. So it's not Beltane here yet, until the flowers open. Great big pine tree. And I noticed this earlier, took a photograph, don't know if it come out well, but this is hawthorn and oak intermingled. And of course, that's like the May Queen and the Oak King having a cuddle. Perfect. Here, lots more pink campion. Lovely wildflower. Here's one of the pools. So there is fresh running water. Lots of flies swarming around. But there's a lot of mud and fallen branches and years of dead leaves to pull out and clear up the water so that the springs flow better than they do right now. It's all a bit of a swamp. Now, this is one of my favorite little trees. I think she's quite old. It's a hawthorn tree, and she's not in blossom yet either, but I reckon she's a good 70, 80 years old. In the winter, all her branches are covered in mossy lichen, however you pronounce it. This stuff almost looks dead in the winter time, but she's alive, but her buds haven't opened yet. So hawthorn is still yet to wake up really in our neck of the woods. Which is fairly south, you know, we're more south than England. So it's a bit, like I say, according to traditional folk magic, it's not Beltane or May until the hawthorn blossoms. And she's a bit slow here, but she has blossomed on this one tree I'm going to take you to now. So this is all wild meadow, quite swampy. We're going to turn it into a small lake pool, and it will flow down through there into the wetland area. And just yesterday, I was using a strimmer to strim back the field boundary back to the hedge and revealed these steps. They're not that old, the planks are wood, but the lower ones have rotten. And that's the old field boundary. I think that might have been a stream once as well. It's dried up. Now, going up here, our only hawthorn tree that's in blossom. I can't really see the screen so well. The sun's in my eyes. But here's the hawthorn blossom. I'll try and keep the laptop still. There's a bumblebee there. Smells wonderful. And quite a nice thing to do, haven't got any, is to collect hawthorn blossom. Not lots of it, but take some of it and put it in a bottle of mead and leave it 6 months. And then in the winter time, you've got hawthorn blossom mead, which is really good for keeping away seasonal blues, you know, the SAD. So you can save a bit of spring in a bottle of mead. The bees here certainly loving it. This field has runway lights running through it. So we just have some sheep grazing in it to use the field really. There's not much you can do. It's an island and the island needs an airport and the airport needs runway lights. So there's still all this to clear, more dead wood to gather up and burn. But this will be a beautiful, it is beautiful anyway, but you know, it'd be an accessible peace garden sanctuary, a bit like inspired by Chalice Well in Glastonbury, you know, a place where people can just come, find peace of heart, find some healing, even if it's just for a day or a weekend. So that rubbly area where I found the French silver coin. We've got a metal detector, but haven't really explored yet. There's too much clearing to do. Need to trim everything down before we could use the metal detector. Well, I noticed this earlier. I thought mushrooms were an autumn thing, but this pile of wood chips has got some sort of fungi growing on. No, I'm not going to eat one. Right. So there you go. There's a walk around of Les Caches Hideaway, Guernsey, which one day will be a peace sanctuary. Oh, this is lovely. I think this is a lilac tree. That's just come into its own the last few days. This smells amazing, smells like honey. Lovely. So there's a walk around Yopan, looking after the studio. And here we are back in where I whittle wood, do artwork, write blooming books. I need another bookcase, but there you go. For Floralia, day 6, still 2 more days before actual Beltane, which is the 5th of May this year. So got tomorrow and then the day after for Beltane. Blessings to everybody. Keep well. Enjoy the summer.